Coffee with Cudmore.
Light 104.7 and 1570 AM. WVTL.
Another opening, another door in Philly, Boston, or Baltimore. I tell you, they have to say hello. Another opening of another show.
Time for show business. We're on the line to the New York City area, and Dave Lefkowitz, theater critic, who joins us from time to time. Dave also puts out Performing Arts Insider, does his very own radio program called Dave's Gone By. If I read this correctly, Dave, you do it on wunkradio.com. Is that true?
Yeah, that's right. Wunk, well, there's no W really. It's uncradio.com. So we lost the W.
It's unkradio.com.
Unk, that's right.
Yeah, Unk Radio.
Just call me your Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dave Lefkowitz talking about Broadway shows. In fact, you are in the New York City area right now going to Broadway shows, right?
That is correct. In fact, I came in about a month ago for a conference that we were both at, and there was so much theater going on, so many shows opening, that I just felt I wasn't seeing enough in the trip that I made. So I came back like 3 weeks later, got myself a cheap flight, and I said, okay, I'm going to see even more and as much as I can for this season. And I am.
Okay, that's good for you. And now, the Tony nominations are out, as usual. We're pretty ignorant of these things upstate. I think it maybe has its most impact within 20 miles of 42nd Street and Broadway, and we're farther than that. So tell us what's happening. What are the shows that have been nominated for Tonys, and why are they good?
Sure, very, very happy to do so. The season ended this past Thursday with the reopening, I should say, of Cabaret. That was the last show of the 2013-14 season. So everything had to open by that date in order to be considered for the Tony Awards, which are going to be happening Sunday, June 8th. So just this Tuesday, they announced the award nominations. And, for example, for Best Play, you've got Act 1, which is an adaptation of Moss Hart's autobiography about how he got started in the business and met George S. Kaufman and started writing the plays with him. That's up against All the Way, which you probably have heard of. That's the one by Robert Schenkan about the early presidency of Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Oh, yeah. In fact, to be the pretentious twit that I am, up in Albany, there's the I can't think. I just lost her name. Moss Hart's, I think, last wife.
Kitty Carlisle.
Yeah, Kitty Carlisle Hart. They've named a theater after her in Albany.
Oh, good. She's actually not part of the play. This is like when Moss Hart was first starting, so she isn't even in the picture yet,
okay.
Which, kind of missed. But, so that play is gaining some ground, even though the critics had a lot of problems with it. But it's up against, as I said, All the Way with Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. That's also up against the newest play by Harvey Fierstein called Casa Valentina, which I haven't seen yet, but it's about heterosexual men who like to dress as ladies.
I see. Well,
go figure Harvey for writing the play about that. And then Mothers and Sons, the latest Terrence McNally play. And finally, Outside Mullingar, which is a play by John Patrick Shanley, who you may remember for writing Doubt. So those are the Best Play nominees, with I think All the Way is probably the leader in the field, though other people are saying Act 1 might have the edge.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, as you say, I can kind of relate to it. It seems to me that All the Way has been profiled in some TV stuff, or I've seen that.
Well, because they can ride on the fact that Bryan Cranston, who is terrific in the show as President Johnson, they've got a star to hitch their horse on. And I think the show happens to be very, very good. It's a sprawling 3-hour epic of backroom politics. Really, really well done.
Yeah.
So I would kind of like to see that one win.
I'd like to see it, too. No, I'd like to see it. I don't know.
You don't know if you want to see it win, sure.
Yeah.
And then musical, I can move on to. There's only 4 musical nominees, and those are After Midnight, which is a review of the cotton clubby kind of era. There's Aladdin, of all things. Disney has come back, even after Tarzan and a couple of other things that they sort of failed with. Aladdin, which does have some magic to it. I have my problems with it. That's up against a show called Beautiful, the Carole King story. I bet you've heard of that one.
Yes, I have.
And those are all up against the one thing that might actually win, which is A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. which is great fun and very smart and witty. Have you ever seen the old Alec Guinness film, Kind Hearts and Coronets?
No, but you and I had this conversation once before, and so it's sort of like that. It's where this guy has to kill off people to get an inheritance or something.
Exactly, and one by one he kills them. Well, the same guy is playing all the people who get killed, and that's great fun. It's Jefferson Mays. He's up for a Best Actor Tony. Will probably win, I think. And also, for my taste, Gentleman's Guide well, I kind of hope it will win, but I think beautiful. Everybody likes the Carole King musical.
Yeah.
Nobody goes in there having a bad time. And I think that may just be this popular groundswell vote being out even. Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. I think that one of the interesting things about the Best Musical category are things that were not nominated. There was a show earlier in the season called Big Fish with Norbert Leo Butz and Susan Stroman directing and choreographing. That was very touching, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It had problems, but it just, got not great reviews and wasn't nominated for barely anything. There's a show called Bridges to Madison County, which, because it did not get a Best Musical nomination and it's not been doing very well, it's going to close in the middle of May. They just announced that yesterday. So that hurt them. They got some good music in it. I was kind of bored by it. And then Bullets Over Broadway, which is tremendous fun and very funny and very well scripted and well done by Woody Allen.
Right.
And had a terrific time. The critics, other than me, were not enamored of it. And it didn't get a Best Musical nomination.
Oh.
So that one may be struggling in a few weeks to stay open.
Oh, my goodness. I'd heard of Bullets Over Broadway. Again, I saw some TV coverage of that. Weren't there some big names and revivals? Isn't Denzel Washington in something on...
Sure, thank you for the lead-in, Bob Cudmore. Yes, Best Revival of a Play. You're talking about a revival of A Raisin in the Sun.
Okay.
That's being done, the Lorraine Hansberry classic, directed by Kenny Leon. And yes, Denzel Washington, who is too old to be playing the role that he is, but you won't mind after the first... I think he's 77, and he's like, no.
So they got a nomination for that play, but it was Best Revival. Okay.
The play got a Best Revival nomination. He did not get a Best Actor nomination, and people are saying that he was kind of cheated on that, because he's really, really good, and it's a very good revival. And I do recommend it. It's probably not going to win, because it's up against a couple of strong contenders. It's up against, The Cripple of Inishmaan, which is the first time that the Martin McDonough play has been on Broadway, and that's very good. It's also up against a show that got real raves, a revival, yet another one, of The Glass Menagerie, with Cherry Jones playing Amanda Wingfield. And the critics really loved that, and the sort of dream-like state of that play and how that was staged. So that may have an edge, but I think 12th Night is going to get it. When Mark Rylance came in with this English company, and they did Richard III and 12th Night in repertory together, and everybody, I did not get to see it, but everybody loved 12th Night, because they did it in this really old style. All the roles were played by men. It was lit by candlelight, because they were trying to do it exactly as they would have done it back in the 1600s. So I think that really has the edge for Best Revival of a Play.
I guess so. They're really reviving there.
Yeah, they're reviving the ultra old, which is actually what they're doing with another show that didn't get nominated, Cabaret. Cabaret isn't just a revival of that show. They're taking the version that the Roundabout did in the late 1990s and basically bringing that back. Alan Cumming is back as the MC. Obviously, Natasha Richardson is not playing Sally Bowles for obvious reasons, but you've got Michelle Williams in there making her Broadway debut as Sally. So that's kind of a revival of a revival.
But it did not get a nomination.
Did not get a nomination, nor did Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill, even though Audra McDonald is starring in that as songstress Billie Holiday. And if she wins, that would be her 6th Tony Award win. Rather extraordinary.
Well, it does sound like a lot of good stuff on Broadway, Dave Lefkowitz. And in fact, I have to say, all kidding aside, that people from up here, we go down to the city. I would say primarily folks that take the trip to see sports. the Yankees, the Mets, the Knicks, the Rangers, or whatever. But there is a bunch of us that do go down and like to see the plays, because they come here eventually, to our Proctor's Theater in Schenectady, or some of them do. But it's really, it's good stuff.
Well, yes. I mean, it's funny when you look at the actual things that are nominated in some of the categories. You go like, well, that wasn't so. That was pretty good. That was, and you don't realize that the whole season as a whole has been really good in the amount of shows, the variety. More than 40 shows open on Broadway this year, which is a bit more than usual. And when you go night after night and you're seeing things that are at least good, that's pretty exciting, even if you're not going, there's the Tony winner. That's the best thing of the year. That should win, or should have won the Pulitzer, et cetera, and so forth.
So June 8th will be the Tony Awards.
That is correct. Sunday night on CBS TV, they've been broadcasting the whole thing live for 3 hours. It will not be hosted by Neil Patrick Harris this year, because he's rather busy doing Hedwig and the Angry Inch on Broadway, which will probably win the Best Revival Tony for a musical. Instead, Hugh Jackman will be back hosting the Tony Awards.
I'm really surprised at that. I thought that your good friend, Dave, Rabbi Saul Solomon, was going to host the Tonys.
He begged, he pleaded, he offered matzah because he doesn't have money, but they wouldn't, they just wouldn't go for it.
Too bad.
I can ask him yourself.
Ask him. I'm curious to get his take on this whole thing.
He's bitterly disappointed. Let me call the rabbi over, because for some strange reason, he happens to be staying at my parents' house along with me.
Yes,
Weird. Hold on.
Pretty pathetic. Dave Lefkowitz staying in his parents' house. And his Manchurian friend is there.
Shalom, Kademe. Hello.
How are you, Rabbi? This is your favorite upstate goy speaking to you.
A goy, all right. Let me put on my shawl, just so the goyish waves don't hit me in the face while you're talking.
I
Okay.
know.
I'm very disappointed. I am so bitterly disappointed. I campaigned to be running the Tony Awards this year, but they went with that Hugh Jackman. I don't know. Maybe looks count.
I guess. What's your favorite play, or least favorite? I mean...
Well, my favorite is Fiddler on the Roof, but not doing that this year.
Jeez, Fiddler, get over it, will you, Rap? No, I'm sorry.
I'm not getting over that. In fact, they're bringing Fiddler back in a year or two.
That's true.
Broadway. They're going to be doing that, so thank God for that.
Yes.
There is Cabaret, so Cabaret has Jewish people in it.
That's good.
We infer at the end of the play that they're all going to die.
I know.
So that does not make me happy, but it's the truth.
That's true.
What else? There wasn't a very Jewish year per se, although there are Jews sprinkled and scattered over the categories. For example, you got Harvey Fierstein, the playwright. He has a new play on Broadway.
Yes,
Aladdin is co-written by Alan Menken. Nice Jewish boy there.
Writing about Mohammedism or something. Well, anyway.
Well, yes, okay, you've got Arabs on the stage.
That's right.
But I don't mind Arabs on the stage so long as they're written by Jews.
I see.
To me, that makes things much better.
Of course.
Let's see, you don't have... Well, Les Miserables, the play about orphans and poor people and the guy stealing the bread, there's a revival of that. Well, everybody who wrote that is Jewish.
Okay.
So that's lovely.
So
who else?
There's enough to cheer about, I think. Well, Rabbi,
Sure.
I hate to tell you, we're running out of time here. Dave just ran off of the mouth. He talked forever, didn't give you enough time. But,
I'm so terrible. That would be Dave for you.
Yeah.
What can I tell you? I'll have to smack him around a little bit after I get off the phone. But let me tell you that it is wonderful, of course, always to talk to you, Bob Cudmore. If you want, if you don't have to, but if you want, I can make you an honorary official Jew. I can change your name to Bob Cudmorowitz. Would you like that?
That sounds good. Already a Polish friend of mine has named me Robush, something or other. Cudmore's.
You better look that up. He may be insulting you and you don't even know it. Check that out there.
Could be right.
Anyway, it's a blessing to talk to you. I'll put on Dave for one more second so he can plug his stuff. Thank you. Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Go watch the Tonys. Dave, come here.
There he goes.
Hey. Hi, Bob.
How you doing, Dave?
Well, that's the rabbi there, yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, we look forward to the Tonys on June 8th. Enjoy your stay in New York. My best to your parents. And
Thank you. Can I just tell real quick that on my radio station, I do that Dave's Gone By radio show on the Saturday of the Tonys on June 7th, and then repeated on June 8th. we'll be doing a big special Dave's Gone By theater show that we always do. It'll be from noon until 5 Mountain Time on uncradio.com.
Okay.
Better remember that.
Oh.
So check that out, everybody.
Thank you, Dave. Always good to talk to you.
Thanks, man. Have a great one.